Welcome to my channel. The historic state in history is often written by the victors, but even more often, it's written by men. Today, we're going to uncover a story so astonishing, so crucial to the outcome of World War II, that it forces us to question who gets to be a hero. We're talking about a woman whose brilliance saved millions of lives, yet her name was intentionally erased from the records. She knew the enemy's next move before they did, but history refused to acknowledge her. Until now, NNTHE year is 1943. The world is engulfed in the fires of World War II. On one side, the Allied forces are fighting desperately, but they are losing. Every convoy sailing across the Atlantic is ambushed. Every military plan seems to be known by the enemy before it even begins. Despair hangs heavy in the air. Deep within the secret bunkers of Bletchley Park, England, a small, unassuming woman works tirelessly. Her name is Eleanor Vance, and she possesses a mind unlike any other. Eleanor didn't come from a family of spies or soldiers. Her father was a watchmaker, precise and methodical, qualities she inherited. Her mother, a seamstress, taught her patience and attention to detail. From a young age, Eleanor was different. While other girls played with dolls, she was dissecting broken clocks, solving intricate mathematical riddles, and devouring books on logic. Her professors at university, all men, recognized her intellect, but often dismissed her depth, seeing her merely as a clever girl rather than a groundbreaking mind. Yet, beneath her quiet demeanor lay an extraordinary talent for patterns, languages, and cryptography, the art of secret codes. When the war broke out, Eleanor immediately volunteered. Her unique skills in mathematics and language made her a perfect fit for the top-secret code-breaking operations. But the world she entered was fiercely patriarchal. The senior officers, mostly men with traditional views, saw the women of Bletchley Park as typists, switchboard operators, or simple clerks. They didn't believe a woman could truly grasp the complexities of advanced enemy ciphers. Colonel Alistair Finch, the head of the cryptology division, was the worst offender. He praised male colleagues openly, ignored Eleanor's insightful questions, and often dismissed her suggestions with a patronizing pat on the shoulder. NTHE dismissals were constant. Eleanor would propose a new method for cracking a specific code, only for Colonel Finch to credit a male junior officer with the same idea a week later. She worked longer hours, fueled by coffee and a burning desire to save lives, not to earn praise. She saw the patterns others missed, the subtle shifts in the enemy's encryption that hinted at larger weaknesses. Day after day, she chipped away at the seemingly unbreakable codes, enduring the whispers and sidelong glances that implied she was merely a lucky guesser. The pressure mounted, with every unsolved code meaning more Allied ships lost, more lives extinguished. The weight of the war and the prejudice within her own ranks pressed down on Eleanor Nan. Then came the night of Operation Trident. A massive Allied convoy, carrying vital supplies and thousands of soldiers, was sailing into what intelligence confirmed was a devastating German U-boat ambush. The enemy's communications were suddenly more secure than ever. Panic gripped Bletchley Park. Colonel Finch barked orders, but no one had a solution. The entire convoy was doomed. Eleanor, despite being largely ignored in the main strategy room, had been quietly working on a peculiar anomaly in the enemy's daily traffic. She had found something. Something big. Driven by a sudden, terrifying realization, Eleanor burst into the main briefing room. She held a freshly deciphered message, her hands trembling, not from fear, but from the immense urgency of the moment. Her hair was disheveled, her face smudged with ink. Colonel Finch, aghast at her intrusion, tried to dismiss her. "Lieutenant Vance, what is the meaning of this? Get out!" But Eleanor didn't listen. She pushed past him, her eyes fixed on the map where the convoy was heading. She slapped the decoded message onto the table. "Sir," she said, her voice clear and cutting through the chaos. "This isn't an ambush. It's a feint. The real target is the supply port at Dover. They are planning a massive aerial bombardment in less than 6 hours." The room fell silent. The senior generals, initially skeptical, quickly verified her claim with other fragmented intelligence reports. Eleanor's lone decipher had pulled together all the missing pieces. The U-boat trap was a distraction. The real threat was aimed at a critical supply hub, and if it succeeded, the war could be prolonged for years. Colonel Finch, for the first time, saw not just a clever girl, but a genius. His face, usually composed, now showed a mixture of shock, awe, and perhaps a hint of professional jealousy. Eleanor stood silently, exhausted, but with the quiet dignity of someone who had just saved countless lives. The following hours, a frantic scramble ensued. Allied planes were diverted, anti-aircraft defenses reinforced, and a devastating aerial attack on Dover was averted with heavy losses for the enemy. The convoy was safe. The port was safe. A turning point in the war had been achieved, but when the official reports were written, when the medals were handed out, Eleanor Vance's name was nowhere to be found. Her contribution was simply absorbed into the collective team effort, or, worse, credited to a male superior. Colonel Finch, while privately acknowledging her genius, continued to manage the public narrative, ensuring that the credit for such a vital victory remained within the established, male-dominated hierarchy. Eleanor, as a woman, was seen as too unconventional to be a public hero, so she became a ghost in the records. After the war, Eleanor, bound by strict secrecy oaths, returned to civilian life. She never spoke of her wartime heroics. Decades passed. The heroes of Bletchley Park, mostly men, were finally celebrated, but Eleanor's name remained buried. It wasn't until the early 21st century, when long-classified documents began to surface, that a dedicated historian, poring over dusty archives, noticed inconsistencies. Redacted names, curiously vague timelines. Slowly, painstakingly, they pieced together the fragments of truth. The story of the Phantom Analyst began to emerge. A woman, a genius. Eleanor Vance NNHER's story, once a whisper, became a roar. Decades after the war ended, long after Colonel Finch had passed, Eleanor Vance finally received the recognition she deserved. Medals were awarded, apologies were made, and her name was etched into the annals of history, where it belonged all along. She never sought glory, but her quiet brilliance, her unwavering dedication, and her sheer courage in the face of both the enemy and the prejudice of her own time had changed the course of the world. This story reminds us that true heroism doesn't always wear a uniform, nor does it always shout its name from the rooftops. Sometimes, it sits quietly in a room, solving the world's most complex puzzles, defying expectations, and saving millions, all while knowing that history might never know their name. Eleanor Vance was an unsung hero who won a war. Her story is a testament to the power of a brilliant mind and an unbreakable spirit. NNT, thank you for watching The Histroic State. If Eleanor's story moved you, if it reminded you of the hidden heroes among us, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Because here, we bring you the untold stories of courage, sacrifice, and the brilliance that truly shaped our world.